for this project, the koi fish. And inside that, there is a folder called the setup file. And this setup file has got a Maya file and 2 fish profiles that I prepared very carefully for this. And remember I told you that there's a different method of creating organic models, right? And different artists use different methods. What I'm going to show you guys is the method using orthographic pictures created very carefully and using it as a template to build out the model. Because our goal is to create a koi fish that looks exactly the same as this. Exact. With very little deviations. So it'll look like this from the side and like this from the front. Now, what I did is I took these into Photoshop and arranged it in such a way that these two line up. And what that means is in Maya, when I open this setup file, and this is something typically that you would do yourself, but because this is an introduction class, I have done for you. Thank you very much. Here it is. Now, once in a while, when you open a file in Maya, if your views all get messed up, you just go and say reset current workspace, and you get it. So this is what I've done. I've brought in these 2 images here, and see how it lines up. So this took a lot of work in Photoshop. You got to take it and just alter it and squeeze it and push it and nudge it until it works. These are called orthographic drawings of this model. It's not perfect, but it'll do. And now, how did I do this? It's like this. It's just like you bring in any image, actually. You know, so it's just create a free image plane, and instead of pulling up a picture of the table and chair, this time I pulled up the picture of this fish. And how did I get it to be transparent? Because this fish, it actually these are JPEG images. I'm sorry, PNG images with the transparency. That's why. Now, the big difference of how we're going to create this model versus, say, the hammer or the chair is that previously we had, when we pulled in an image, it was used only as a casual reference. You just look at it and you just eyeball it. But now we are not going to be eyeballing it. We are going to use this as the template, not just as a reference, as a template over which we will build. Okay, and that is done in a series of steps. And so I'd like to show you in advance that's the series of steps. So you have a picture of where we're heading to with this. Just give me a second. So here is a preview of what we'll be doing. Okay, so here it is. I had taken pictures from my previous class of what each stage looks like. So we start off with creating a structure that looks like this. Then, and we arrange all the vertices in a way that aligns very perfectly. And then we keep adding more detail. In fact, even for the fins, we create, even before the fin is put, we start creating, aligning the edges so that there is good edge flow that forms when you start making all this. And so you can see how now the face area has been set up, and you can see how this edge loops go from the mouth through the like just behind the head and through the body, and turns literally into the tail. And you can see how it's all shaping out, and how the fin slowly gets to kind of grow out of the body. Right, see how it's all connects is very effortlessly. And I'll also show you how to create a high-res version of it on the side, so that way you work on this and that gets updated. And then the side fins also gets added on, and then in fact even the lips get added on. See how it's all connecting, and the eyes, and then adding edge loops for more details. Got it, guys? So that is what we're trying to do here, and it all starts from here. Okay, so the first thing I did was to bring in the orthographic images, and I'm going to put this in reference mode. So reference mode, as you know, or actually maybe we haven't shown you that. If you take an object and you put it in a layer, and that layer, if you turn it into template, it just goes in this grayscale kind of a thing. But if you go to R, it's a reference. Means you can see it, but you cannot click on it. It's a very useful thing. You can hide it once in a while and then bring it back up. And you can, as long as it's in R, you can see it, but you can't touch it. It's like locking away this object. And you can again take it out, and then you're back to this. So that's the idea. All right, so we have this. Now, here's how we're going to start. I'm going to create the body of the fish first. That is, what I'm thinking is, this is my plan. What I'm thinking is I will hold on. So what I'm thinking is to get started on this, I need something that is designed just right to be able to be grown into the front and then on the back of the body. And so a good object for that is a cylinder. And the cylinder, when placed like this, should give me a good start. I'll place it right in the middle of everything, and yeah, 0, 0, all that's good. Then what I'll do is this. I'm going to reduce the number of lines here on the side to bring it just enough, not too little, not too heavy. And that magic number is actually 8, because because it's like 4 segments on either side. See, here's the halfway point. In fact, if you go to 9, you miss the halfway point. See, you cannot split the fish exactly in the middle. And if it's 6, it's just also you miss the halfway point. And not 8 is perfect, because it's like 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 on one side and 4 on the other side. This is perfect. And now we will also get rid of all these things, because we're going to be building it out piece by piece. Get rid of that, and I'll get rid of this also. So it's a nice see-through thing. This is the beginning of the fish. So I'm going to place it right here. And so now, see, the good way to work with this is you've got to have a good perspective view, a side view, a front view, and a top view. Okay, so using the side view, I'm going to just place it right somewhere around here. And we'll take all this and start doing this. Now, the goal is to always minimize effort. So instead of moving these points point by point, why don't you just scale it and move it all together. this, and this I can bring it all the way here, scale it, move it, rotate it as I need to, and then of course you got to go to this side and scale it. And scale it like this. See how it kind of matches nicely with it. And see, this is the beginnings of this whole thing, because notice how we are positioning everything. Now let's say I want to make an adjustment. Let's not do this. That is, don't select one vertex and move it, because suddenly this other one goes off kilter, and then I have to take this and kind of match it up. Don't do that. What we do is you select both, and then to move it, just use scaling methods, because moving is basically like to go sideways, you can just scale it like that. And to move it up and down, of course, you can select both and move it. So whatever you do on one side, do it on the other side also equally. So, I mean, this is all correct, but this is in case you do want to move it independently. Do not move it independently, but move it as a group, because we need to have a very patterned approach of this whole thing. All right, now let's clean it up a little more. So this, instead of keeping it a straight line, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use this edge loop to create a loop that defines this head area with a nice gentle arc. Not necessarily the gill, but because in a fish the gill is just another part. So I'm actually more interested in an overall line that suggests the transition between the head and the body. So I'm moving this now. Now I can confidently move these because I know that by just dragging across like this, I'm selecting both sides. Okay. So I'm creating a nice gentle arc. Great. Maybe bring it forward a little. See what it looks like here. Looks good. Now from the back, select this, and interestingly enough, it's almost like the artist that made this. Now this is not my art. I found it online. It's almost like this artist anticipated my approach, because I can actually literally match it up line by line. And this kind of shows you how awesome I am. No, it just shows you how in nature things have a pattern, and that pattern you have to seek and find in models. And if you can find the pattern, you'll see that it'll simply fall in place perfectly. Okay, so that concludes the first part of this.